microphone about things that were completely tangential.
I was not yelling.
Exactly.
I was not yelling. I was not yelling.
Everyone,
Brenda,
and it's
just
just
stop.
a point.
Like,
And
we got your.
it's a real. It's not
Yeah,
useless.
we understand your point,
We don't
Brenda,
understand it
and
at all.
most of us agree with it. I do. I just laid it out for you, and you agreed that that's what you were trying to say.
This isn't Reds. This isn't Reds with Warren Beatty. It's Hotel Rwanda. That's the thing.
Cool. Yeah, we got it. You're
so you don't get it.
Thank you, Brenda,
fucking
for your boomer
Brenda got. Brenda shared the
you guys
breaking
think it's
news.
Warren Beatty and Reds and all those.
No one thinks that.
Yes, you do.
She's overtalked.
Brenda, like you don't know anything about this topic,
yes,
right?
You're
I
just
know
saying about
nonsense.
the difference between reality.
Because you're mad. Because you're mad at.
She actually used the exact terminology that Pogan then ended up using in his explanation. The petty bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, it shows that she knows what the fuck she's talking about, doofus.
No, it doesn't. Because she's picked up like a few terms.
Because we don't have evidence.
Okay, but now you're going into a personal attack. Stop the personal attack.
But like,
give each other opportunity to speak. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it shouldn't be.
I don't understand why we white knight
Shut
for Brenda.
up! You're
Molly, you're just being like. Do you think that was of any value? What Brenda just said. Like everyone knows that.
What Brenda said.
She said people will die in the revolution, actually, and that there's a difference between just talking about revolutions and the internet and understanding its real life implications and participating.
And the brutality and grittiness and unpleasantness.
Everyone fucking knows it.
I don't think you do know.
No one is under the delusion.
I think you are under a delusion.
What's the reason for that?
Because you don't take it as seriously as I think you really should.
Look, I can't.
Why don't I take it seriously?
Because
is Brenda trying to argue for her being objective
morality? The only reason I don't take it seriously, Brenda, is it's never going to fucking happen. There's never going to be a communist revolution, which makes it all an intellectual exercise, which makes it irrelevant. Which is why you don't need to take it more seriously than we are. There you go. We're finished.
No, okay, that was.
I'd like to just bring. I can't yell, so just give me like 5 seconds before I completely lose interest and leave. Look, we were having a calm conversation. I was explaining to Molly the Marxist view. Brenda came in and said, "Are you going to murder people?" I said, "Well, I just take that to be unjustified, and here's the justification for people being killed under Marxism, right? They're going to be people in the capitalist class who oppose Marxist efforts." And then we got into some random like value judgment moralizing Monday bullshit of no consequence to the discussion. Now we're back on square one where Brenda
let him finish.
Now we're back to square one.
I was not moralizing.
Cutting me off.
Yeah, Brenda, why do you get to overtalk people, but when we overtalk you?
Yuri, you too.
Look, again, we're back.
We don't need
we're back to square one, where Brenda thinks that offering us random phrases and words that she's picked up in conversations with Jack and other Marxists means that she understands the theory, which she doesn't, right?
No,
it was apparent that she didn't understand the theory when she said, "So you're going to murder people," not understanding that murder would be an unjustified killing, and there's a very specific and explicit and detailed reason people would be killed by Marxists in a revolution. That has been hashed out in this room plenty of times before today. Now, if this is just going to turn into value judgments where we try to attack Marxists for thinking that people should be killed, it's a waste of everyone's time, and it doesn't advance anyone's knowledge of the theory. If that's what we want to do as a room, feel free. I'm just not interested in that. I'd much rather return to a calm conversation about the details of the theory with people who aren't going to come in and throw their dick on the table and act like they need to be the center of attention.
No, that's completely false. There was no moralizing on my part at all.
Talking about the gravity of someone being killed is moralizing. It's abstract moralizing,
it isn't.
But it's still moralizing.
It isn't.
No, it's not moralizing. She's just trying to say something like, you guys don't understand the severity of killing, right? You're not taking it seriously, therefore now I will try to explain.
It's just abstract or indirect.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, we all agree as human beings, right, that killing is something that, there's a difference.
Where in that is there a judgment? Where in that am I making a judgment? The point is there's a very real difference between, and Pogan sits here, he wants to have this calm, abstract debate over Because that's not what it's going to be.
Well, it was until you showed up.
Wait, why
What
do
do you
you
mean by that?
come in and dictate?
No one is under the delusion that this conversation is the revolution. Are you
Well,
fucking
unless
insane?
you actually talk about it, then you are under the
So
delusion.
don't talk about Marxism unless you start the revolution.
Not the Marxism, and it's not about the theory. It's about the practice.
Are you aware that Molly was asking?
What are you talking about?
Hold on. Are you aware that Molly was asking me to explain Marxism to her before you jumped in like a lunatic and started yelling?
So the point is.
Answer that question.
No, I was not aware.
Okay, so maybe you should sit back and like listen to the conversation.
Look. Is there a desire for Pogan and Molly to resume our conversation? Their conversation. Is there, Pogan? No, fuck, Yuri. I'm not asking you. Fuck. Pogan.
I'm down if Molly.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, sure. Brenda, if you interject,
they're done.
Just because you don't like people talking about Marxism, you're muted.
They're done. They're done.
They never said they were done.
They just said so. They just said so right now. Pogan said he's done, and Molly said she's done.
I said I'm down if.
Oh, I thought you said done.
Yeah. Shit. So interject once more, and you're. I'm just gonna mute you, to be honest, because you're being.
Molly, do you have any further?
I just need to. Right now I'm scrambled eggs.
Okay.
So.
Do you want to shelve this and?
Unless I'm sure you. Yeah. Because now I just have to process what everyone was saying and try and weed through bits and pieces that I gathered.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause enough people.
No, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Let me just give you a piece of advice, though. I don't say this as a personal attack. I just say this because I think it's actually detrimental to you understanding you. There are a few people in this community that actually know what they're talking about when they talk about Marxism. Brenda is not one of them. I would take what she says anytime she comes into the room, barreling into a conversation like an insane person with a great.
Yeah. But it does seem to be the case that it's a situation where either you conform and follow or you die. And for those people like myself and my husband and family members that do not agree with Marxism, it's a bit of repent or perish type thing, and the repenting is not becoming a Marxist, and that's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I can appreciate that if this is the way that you wish.
Yeah, if you oppose them, I
would love to see it.
They'll kill you, Molly. They want to kill you.
Brenda was muted. What the?
Mommy, it's like no. Yep, Brenda. I mean, I told you, right? Do we have to do it like that way?
Yeah, that's a big concern because also, my son is definitely not communist or Marxism. I come from a very strong military family. We have spent our lives upholding these rights that you do not agree with.
Yeah, they hate those rights.
But
Brenda,
that's true.
Molly,
Brenda, do you want to be muted?
Wait, hold on. If I can speak real quick, Molly. This shows that Brenda
doesn't understand anything. But it's not Brenda talking. This is me. This is me giving my observation.
Yuri,
just finish my point. But hold on, if I can just finish my point,
it's just your personal attack. That's all you're doing.
You and your family, since you and your family are in the military, right? Under Marxist theory, your family would be one of us.
No, we
that's just wrong. That's just wrong.
Wait,
that's not how it would go at all.
Yuri, fuck.
You guys are ridiculous. Like, what Yuri said is just false, right? Molly's husband is a police officer. Okay, I can try to appeal to her common sense. I can try to give reasons why he probably wouldn't resist the revolution. But at the end of the day, as long as he's a police officer, he's an enemy of the revolution, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no getting around.
Yeah, he's
because what it comes down to is you're asking me to try and talk my husband out of something that he strongly believes in, like myself.
Yeah.
I talk my husband into that.
Yeah. So Molly, your husband is an enemy of the revolution, and so are you. And in the revolution, you would die, because whether it was Pogan or not, somebody would kill.
That's not what I said at all.
That's not justified. Like, something like that cannot be said like a priori. It's not.
Look, it's
not. Okay, I can't talk.
My
Pogan,
bad.
can I? Okay. It's not justified a priori by any conceptual reasoning based on the theory. It's not justified historically to say that just because you're a police officer, you're necessarily going to get killed or something, right? So I don't know why you're fear-mongering like this, right? But to make it about what Molly is actually saying as opposed to just shitty rhetoric that Brenda's making, it is true that in situations like a revolution, given that it's some sort of class conflict, at least and especially in the initial phases of it, opposition to a strong, I guess, and winning revolutionary movement probably spells out either removal of rights or imprisonment or killing, right? So that some sort of submission to that cause will be necessitated if you want to live the way you lived before, right? In terms of rights, in terms of living, right? So I think what Molly's saying, what her worry is basically justified, but I just don't see why anyone who like ever thought about what a revolution is would be surprised by that.
Yeah, I agree. I would just like to add that even though Jung summed that up really nicely, the idea that Molly's resistance to Marxist ideas
so fucking boring.
Come on, JJ.
JJ.
Okay, so he should be muted.
No.
I guess.
I'm sorry.
In fact, if Tom was here, he would say, "Get that shit out of here." That's what he would say.
That's the kind of the funny thing about the server.
I'm sorry. Let us quickly ask Room. Are we boring the shit out of you?
I mean, probably, but
well, the conversation going like this about what is entailed by the revolution and
anybody? I had to
reconnect.
Is anybody awake?
If you thought about what the revolution was, it wouldn't be surprising to you.
Okay, I do admit that Jung has low energy, but if you listen to the content of what Jung was saying,
I mean, it's fine. It's fine, Yuri. Just let it move on. But it's just ironic that these are the exact people that, when someone says something that they don't agree with, right, in another situation, they just bitch, right, and give nonsense as opposition to whatever is being said because they don't want to fucking listen when a topic is being talked about seriously. So just
who are you talking about?
Many people in this
I don't know.
Who are you talking about, Jung?
Right,
I didn't hear. Pogan decided to talk just before you started.
Yeah, I decided to talk. Today we're having a perfectly peaceful conversation. I don't know why you're bitching about this being boring when there's tons of topics that plenty of people consider as boring that are pursued at length in here. If you don't like the conversation, switch to another room.
Are you done?
Turn them down. Put them on mute. Go do something else. Pretend you have a life.
Fucking
whatever
asshole.
you want to do.
Go to Blue Politics, bud.
Are you done?
It's just like there are plenty of other rooms. We made it clear that Molly and I were still going to talk about the issue, and instead of just leaving or going to another room, you decided to scream like an insane person. Notice how like the old people are the ones who do this. I just don't.
Yeah. No, everybody noticed. That's what the old people do. They scream. It's definitely not the young people ever. Good observation, Pogan.
JJ,
You're very astute.
Why are you doing this, JJ? I mean,
It's just
conversation.
Yeah, that's very clear, Molly.
Do you know how many times you sat and I've sat
This is all just distracting from the actual question. Who are you talking about, Jung?
Star Wars.
I told you most of.
Oh.
But yeah, Bam, why would you lie about that? why would you lie about that in general chat, right? Because I didn't know that they were talking about Molly's husband being a police officer, right? Molly made the comment about the military and her military family, and the only point I was making then was that the military, under Marxist theory, are part of the working class. I didn't know that they were making reference.
Look, I wouldn't say that so liberally.
Oh, okay. Or the Vanguard.
The point is that I think. Well, no, I wouldn't say liberally that all kind of people in the military would be considered working class.
It's not going to be the fact of the matter. It's going to be based on their interpretation of which side they take.
No, of course.
Fucking revolution. Don't be retarded.
Of course, we're talking about an interpretation, right? But the point is that something like simple soldiers, I guess, or like these very lower ranks would be considered. No, I mean if Mali has like.
Well, I don't think that the communist revolutionaries would reject like an experienced general if he was sympathetic to their cause. Like, they would find his skills useful, so they'd take him anyway. So what it comes down to is where they fall during the time of this hypothetical revolution. That's all that's going to matter.
Yeah, it's just a view that it's less likely for these high-ranking, I guess, people in the military during capitalist times to like kind of fall into place with socialist ideas.
I mean, that's a view, but at the same time, historically, military coups are one of the most common forms of revolution, and they're usually performed by high-ranking generals.
We don't regard coups as revolution.
Well, they are revolutions. They're not communist revolutions necessarily. No, they have been.
They're not social revolutions. No, the point is that I guess the point is that what people mean by revolution is not like well, Marxists means by revolution. That's why you don't think that like Marxists don't think that like fascism